Okay, we're ready to get started.
Are you signed in? To the Zoom?
Yeah,
I'm not.
you can see on the screen.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
yeah, I mean, I can do it without it. It's my link is not working.
Do what? So is it in here? Yeah,
Yeah, they can get through the microphones here, you just gotta go there, you know.
right. How's that? How's that?
I mean, it's just showing it for me. So not signed in. Well, anyway, this is not working. I have to do it without it.
Right, was ready to go. I am Michael Powers, counsel to the Commissioner of the Division of Insurance, and I've been appointed as co-chair of the Auto Body Labor Rate Advisory Board by Insurance Commissioner Michael T. Caljo. The other co-chair, who is in attendance today, left of me, is Stacy Gotham. Stacy is an actuary and is with the Office of the Attorney General and has been appointed as co-chair by the Office of the Attorney General, Andrea Joy Campbell. Erin Shannon is the person from the Office of the Attorney General conducting the virtual recording. Please introduce yourself, Erin.
Hello, everyone. I'm running the virtual side of the meeting, so if you have any problems, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. The meeting is being held in person and virtually in accordance with Governor Haley's executing into law on March 28, 2025, Chapter 2 of the Act of 2025, which, among other things, further extends temporary provisions pertaining to the open meeting law to June 30th, 2027. The temporary provisions were first implemented by executive order in March of 2020 by Governor Charles Baker and subsequently enacted into law by Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, an act relative amending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. And of course, this is being held virtually and also in person. Some members of the board will be attending virtually, and today I count 7 members attending in person. Now, for today's hearing, the goal is to take testimony from interested parties who would like to testify before the board about the auto body industry, the insurance industry, or any other related matter to the mission of the board. The board is tasked by a state statute for various commands that we must do. All the meetings will be recorded of these advisory board meetings. A board member is to absence himself either from this room or from those attending virtually. Tell the co-chair, because the open meeting law requires we make note of that in the records of the minutes. And it also requires that we make note of it when a board member returns, as required by Massachusetts open meeting law. The Auto Body Labor Rate Advisory Board was created by Governor Haley's Mass Leads Act, Section 292, Chapter 238 of the Acts of 2024. Section 292 states, there is hereby established an Auto Body Labor Rate Advisory Board to address any issues related to auto body labor rates. The advisory board shall consist of one person appointed by the Commissioner of Insurance, who shall serve as a co-chair, one person appointed by the Attorney General, who shall serve as co-chair, one person appointed by the Director of Standards, three persons selected from the auto insurance industry by the Automobile Insurance Bureau of Massachusetts, three persons selected from the auto repair industry from different geographic regions of the Commonwealth by the Alliance of Automotive Service Providers of Massachusetts, Inc., one person selected by the Massachusetts State Automobile Dealers Association, one person selected by the Mass Association of Insurance Agents, and three persons to be appointed by the co-chairs, one of whom shall be from a consumer advocacy group, one of whom shall be from a group representing the business community, and one of whom shall be an economist with expertise in the insurance industry. Hereafter, I'll refer to this as the advisory board. In accordance with law, there are 14 members of the board who are representative of various interested parties in the auto body insurance industry and other specialists. Pursuant to the law, the advisory board is tasked with the following. The advisory board shall be responsible for creating, implementing, and overseeing a survey given to relevant auto body shops. The advisory board shall collect industry data, including but not limited to: 1, labor rates in neighboring states; 2, auto body shop costs; 3, total labor costs; 4, inflation data; 5, workforce data; 6, vocational technical school trends; 7, insurance premium; and 8, any additional information as required by the advisory board. The results of the survey and the data collected shall be reviewed and analyzed by the advisory. No later than December 31st, 2025, the advisory board shall make recommendations to the Division of Insurance for a fair and equitable labor rate and file a report of its findings, conclusions, and recommendations with the clerks of the Senate and House of Representatives, the Joint Committee on Financial Services, the Senate and House Committees on Ways and Means, and the Division of Insurance. At this time, I will introduce each board member and conduct a roll call vote as required by the open meeting law of Massachusetts. So, from the Division of Standards appointment, Mark A. Morante, Deputy Commissioner and General Counsel of the Massachusetts Division of Standards. Mr. Morante has been involved with the Division of Standards for many, many years. He's highly regarded within the Undersecretariat. He has played a big role in the process of registering the repair shops, the regulation governing that, and dealing with consumer complaints over the years. Are you present here, Mr. Morante? Could you identify yourself?
I am here.
Thank you. We also have, for the consumer advocate appointee by the co-chair, Sean Kane of Safety Research and Strategies, Inc. Mr. Kane has testified in Congress on rollover crashes, and as a result of his testimony, Congress enacted legislation protecting consumers in the United States. He has extensive experience in these types of issues in the United States. Mr. Kane, are you available for the hearing?
Present.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. From the business group appointees by the co-chairs, J.C. Burton, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Maverick Construction, Inc. J.C. has been very active in climate issues and construction in Massachusetts and in Atlanta, Georgia. She is a consumer advocate for this district. She's also a business group appointee. Are you available, J.C. Burton?
Present.
Thank you. The economist appointed by the co-chairs is John Quokka. The Neil F. Finnegan Distinguished Professor of Economics at Northeastern University. The Quokka is well regarded as an economist in the United States and has a specialty with insurance-related issues. Are you present, Mr. Quokka? Mr. Quokka did indicate he'd be out of the country, I think, or out of town for this meeting and unavailable. The next appointee is the appointee of the Massachusetts Association of Insurance Agents. This is the person selected by the insurance agency, which is a highly regarded organization in Massachusetts, been around for many years. It's very well known. And they chose as their appointee, Paul C. Burke, who is Vice President of Bay Coast Auto Insurance Company, and is very highly regarded in the Massachusetts Association of Insurance Agents. Would you identify yourself?
I am Paul Burke, and it's Bay Coast Insurance Agency.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Burke. The appointee for the Massachusetts State Automobile Dealers Association is David Brown, who is the Service Director for DeLuca Chevrolet Cadillac Inc. of Andover. Mr. Brown has been involved with the Automobile Dealers Association for many, many years. He's highly regarded among that association, and that's proven by the point that they made him their appointee to the board. Will you introduce yourself, Mr. Brown?
Hi.
So, for the Automobile Bureau Insurance appointments, we have Christopher Stark, who is the Executive Director of the Massachusetts Insurance Federation. Mr. Stark has been greatly involved with insurance-related issues for many years in Massachusetts and beyond, in the state of Rhode Island and also in New Jersey. He's highly respected with the legislature here in Massachusetts, and he's highly respected with the auto body people and the insurance people in Rhode Island. Will you introduce yourself, Mr. Stark?
Happy to be with everybody present, Mr. Powers.
Another appointment is Peter Smith, who is head of material claims damage with the MAP-free insurance company. Mr. Smith is not only involved with the insurance part of the business, he's also a member of the Auto Damage Appraisal Licensing Board. He was first appointed by Governor Charles Baker, and he has subsequently been appointed by Governor Haley. Mr. Smith has done a wonderful job conducting the Part 2 examinations over the years for the Auto Damage Appraisal Licensing Board, and he too is very well respected in the auto damage component of the insurance industry. Will you introduce yourself, Mr. Smith?
President Attorney Powell, thank you.
So we have Samantha Tracy, maybe virtually attending today. She's with the Arbella Insurance Company. She also at one point served on the Auto Damage Appraisal Licensing Board. She served that in a very honorable and did a very good job. She's very well regarded as the Arbella Insurance Company's auto damage specialist, and she has been active in the insurance auto body industry for many years. Are you available for today's meeting, Samantha? She's not answer present. The next one we have is from the Alliance of Automotive Service Providers of Massachusetts. Rick Starvin, who was also at one point a member of the Auto Damage Appraisal Licensing Board, also has distinguished himself in elected politics. He was elected to the school committee for the city of Lynn, and after that, he was elected to the Lynn City Council. Owns his own business that he began right out of high school in Revere. It's one of the top-rated businesses in Massachusetts for auto body insurance in that region. He's also held several positions with the Alliance of Automotive Service Providers over the years, and he has been greatly involved in the auto body damage industry. Are you available today, Mr. Starvin?
I am President Attorney Powers, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know you came in. Nice to see you. The next one is Brian Bernard, who is he owns Total Care Active Repair Service of Rainham, 81 Brookside Circle, Rainham, Mass. Mr. Bernard has been involved in the collision repair industry since 1999 as the business manager for a multiple shop operator. In 2010, he started his own collision repair shop in Rainham, Mass. Total Care Accident Repair employs 17 people, has achieved ITAR Gold Class recognition, and maintains several OEM repair certificates. He's the true American story. He started his own business, has grown it, and he has become very prestigious within the auto body industry in Massachusetts. Will you introduce yourself, Mr. Bernard?
Thank you, Chairman Powers, President.
Right. And our third appointee is Matthew Chaskini. He is a full tilt auto body collision, 164 West Street, West Cadville. Mr. Cassini has built his own business. Today, it's a thriving business in that part of Massachusetts. And he's also involved, I believe, with the ASP Mass. He is highly regarded in the industry and has done a wonderful job representing his point of view from the auto body side. Will you introduce yourself, Matt?
I'm your Attorney Powers.
Thank
and
you.
I'm the president of the AASP. I just want to thank everybody for taking time out of your day. I know how difficult it is to get out of your shop. So thank you very much for making the time.
So, as you can see, we have a star-studded panel here that a lot of people did a lot of work to make sure that both sides of the industry is very well represented. Now, at this point in time, I will turn the meeting over to Stacy Gotham, my co-chair, who is going to give an introduction.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just a couple words about myself. I am a credentialed actuary and have been for over 25 years. I've worked for several decades for the insurance industry and most of a decade in public service for state government. So I know both sides of regulatory and the industry. I just wanted to say a couple words about the progress that we've made to date. And we've made significant progress. We had a voluntary subgroup of auto body representative board members and insurer board members put together a survey, and this was voted on by the board. And it has been distributed now by the Division of Standards. We should receive results on this in a little bit less than 30 days, at which time we'll start looking at the data. We've also made some progress on the insurance industry survey, and the board has agreed that all companies writing private passenger auto in Massachusetts, 1% or more of the market will complete the survey, similar to what is done in Rhode Island. We have a couple more issues to work on that, but we're close to getting a survey together for the insurers. And we still have a significant amount of work ahead of us, but we've made a lot of progress to date. Thank you.
I'm gonna go back to each board member and ask them if they want to, before we do the testimony, the witnesses, ask them if they want to make a statement of their own. I will note that we have a quorum to conduct business. I believe we have 10 present here and one remotely. So we have more than enough to conduct business under the law. So the meeting is officially open. Going down the line here, we have Mr. Matt, you've already made a statement. Would you like to say anything further?
Yeah, I could just speak to briefly. Again, thank you for everybody for coming out. The reason why I say I know how difficult it is to get out of your shops is because we know that we are operating under an unmanageable labor rate in the state of Massachusetts. This is why we are here. The legislators who made this happen saw that there's an inequity that has to be corrected. And that's what we're here to try to do. So again, thank you very much.
Mr. Bernard, would you like to make a statement?
Part of our quest here is to identify what's really happening in the market for, what market rates are for the labor that we perform. And trying to juxtapose that to the reimbursement rates that are being kind of forced upon us without negotiation. So there is a large difference in there. And, you know, your stories will help tell the tale as to why we're here, how we got here. And I applaud you all taking your time to be here in person, and for those virtual, really important statements to come. Thank you.
So, Mr. Stadler, would you like to make a statement?
Thank you, Attorney Powers. To reiterate what Matt had said, thank you all for taking the time to step away from the shops. We have all spent a lot of time away from our shops, especially on this issue. We all know the labor rate has been increasingly low since 1988, when insurance reform took effect. We've, since that time, year after year, filed bill after bill to try to seek relief. I served on the commission that was formed back in 2008, where the findings of that commission was to direct the legislature to take action if the rates didn't move significantly within that year, with the easement of cost containment and the opening to manage competition. Those rates did not move at all. Subsequently, a couple of years later, another commission was formed. Nothing happened. Here we are again, 17 years after the first commission, to hopefully get resolution to this problem while we still have an industry to see. Thank you.
Mr. Brown, would you like to make a statement?
Yes, please. Thank you all for coming. Now's your time, guys, to speak up. You know, don't hold back. If they tell us how you feel. Emotion can be felt through the microphone as well as heard. Please speak up if you have something to say.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Moranki, would you like to make a statement?
I don't have a statement, I'm just looking forward to hearing from her.
So, next one, Mr. Burke, would you like to make a statement?
Just briefly, thank you for being here. I know how difficult it is to get into Boston. I've been in the insurance business for over 45 years as an agent representing my clients, my customers. And I'm honored to be here to help solve an issue that you all have. I own my own agency for over 45 years and just emerged from Bay Coast Insurance. Thank you.
Mr. Smith, would you like to make a statement?
Thank you, Attorney Burrows. I will defer to Mr. Stark on opening statement.
Mr. Stack, would you like to make it?
Yes, thank you, Attorney Powers, and thank all of you sincerely from both sides for taking time out of your schedule today. I know that as I sit here, this isn't just about us as appointments of the Automobile Insurance Bureau, but as those that collectively we know are entrusted with the protecting the long-term interest of both policyholders and the broader public in the Commonwealth. To be clear from the outset, though, the Mass Insurance Federation and our 26 members, which represent the vast majority of the auto insurance market in the Commonwealth, are in firm opposition to any state-set auto body labor rate. Let me clarify that, though, a bit. Our shared goal should always be a fair, competitive, and sustainable marketplace, one that ensures quality repairs for consumers, safeguards affordability, and promotes economic stability across sectors. Unfortunately, the idea of government-mandated labor rates undermines all three. If we were in the sort of crisis that we will probably be urged to believe today, consumers would be lined up outside legislators and the Division of Insurance's door, pleading for relief from long wait times caused by an undersupply of shops, and insurers would not have the vast network of shops under some form of agreed contractual rate. Neither of those things are happening today. Contrary to much of what you'll hear, Massachusetts is not even the lowest cost of repair state in the country, or even New England. And we definitely do not have the lowest total labor cost for repairs, which illustrates that the differences experienced in Massachusetts' statutory and regulatory scheme over the last 40 years required insurers to think beyond the labor rate calculations to ensure our auto body industry remain fairly compensated. Importantly, today, the Massachusetts labor price for most companies is included in the 2016 standard auto policy, which reads, "The cost to repair the auto is limited to the prevailing competitive price, which is the price we can secure from a licensed repair facility conveniently located to you." As we get into the data today from all sides, I can say with confidence through working with our members that since the last auto labor rate special study commission by the legislature, chaired by Chairman Murphy of the House, Chairman Feeney, and Chairman Crichton for the Senate, since that time, labor rates by the Federation's members have increased by at least 10% and up to more than 30%. That is the market at work, because it's important to recall that the last vestiges of state-required labor rate suppression only ended in 2016. According to the NAIC data insurance database report, the national average for property damage liability claim severity increased more than 30% between 2018 and 2022. In Massachusetts, the total cost of repair for a vehicle has increased more than 43% since 2018. This inflationary pressure is already translating into premium increases for consumers. Now, imagine layering on top of that a one-size-fits-all labor rate determined not by the market dynamics, but by the legislative or bureaucratic processes that are inherently slower to adapt to innovation, cost variations, and differences in operating expenses. Today's repair industry is already well positioned to negotiate fair rates directly with insurers based on market supply, demand, and business sophistication. In fact, a body shop with the latest certifications and advanced equipment often does negotiate higher reimbursement rates. Conversely, those that do not invest in quality training or safety should not be expected legislated rate parity. That would be anti-competitive, unfair to high-performing businesses. This isn't conjecture, though. In neighboring states, like Rhode Island, where rigid repair mandates or adjudicated pricing mechanisms have been explored, we've seen an increase in repair disputes, delayed claims resolutions, and mounting friction between insurers, repairers, and consumers. Massachusetts should not repeat these steps. Finally, I know we're going to hear about insurance rates a lot today. I want to just be clear on the data from the outset that the premium increases as recorded from the National Association of Insurance Commissioners were $820 in 1989 and $1,251 in average combined premium in 2022. That is the last available year that we have. This shows how hard insurers have worked to keep long-term rates below CPI increases. By those numbers, we have already achieved the parity from the $30 labor rate in 1989, according to the data submitted earlier this year to the board, but to this board by the ASP representatives. As we open the dialogue on this important issue, I urge this body to support a free market approach that rewards quality, fosters competition, and protects consumers from the cost inflation that invariably flows from government price setting. Let's respect the diversity of our repair industry, empower shops to differentiate and compete, and allow insurers and providers to agree on mutually agreed upon arrangements. That does not mean that we do not have many solutions to offer this board and all of you in the room that will improve negotiations, constrict the pressure auto body shops and insurers are under from strict OEM part restrictions or costly certifications, and improve our talent pipeline for the auto repair industry. We're ready to explore these options, and I hope you are too. So I'm ready to get to work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the insurers.
Thank you, Mr. Staff. Now, for the best part of the day, we have the in-person testimony. We have a sign-in sheet at the beginning. I have a list of the first ones to sign in. After we have the live testimony, if there's time permitting, we'll invite people to testify virtually who will follow the meeting today. So our first person that signed in today is Gary Cloutier of Klutz Auto Body Inc. He's with AASP Mass. He's with the auto body repair. He's been in the auto body industry for many, many years. We probably taught a lot of people in the room at this appearance of head of the board a lot of things they didn't know about the auto body industry. So it's a pleasure to have you before us today. Thank you, Mr. Cloutier, and please tell us.
Well, I'm gonna tackle this in a different way, trying to drive home the point. Everybody in this room have a lawn, snow blower, so. Cause I called 3 shops in the Boston area, 3 shops in the Western Mass area. For both of those types of things. And bike repairs in the Boston area was $135 an hour, $100 an hour, on 120 for an average of 118.33. Bike repair shops in Western Mass were 95, 80, and 120 for an average of 98. Small engine repairs, 85, 120, 95 for an average of 106.66. Small engine repairs in Western Mass were 95, 125, and 108 for an average of 109. But the insurance industry expects us to fix cars for $40, $50 an hour. We're right over the border in Connecticut, which is 15 miles away from the exact same companies that write policies in Massachusetts and in Connecticut are paying those shops $20 to $30 more per hour. And they're not fixing cars any different in Enfield than they are in Westfield or Springfield or anywhere else for that matter in the state. If I decided I wanted to be a licensed electrician or a plumber, and I get my journeyman's license and my apprenticeship, I survey all the things I need to do and certified by the state. And I go into business for myself. What's my biggest expense once I bought all my tubing cutters and benders and threaders and test equipment? I'm pretty much done for the rest of my life, unless I break something. My biggest expense is my van, which I might have to replace maybe every 5 or 7 years. But the equipment that we have to have and maintain and constantly update is way more than any electrician or plumber will ever have. Electricity never changes. It's 110, 220, 440. It's the same from California to Cape Cod. And when a big storm blows in and all these crews go out to the middle of the country somewhere, they all look at each other and say, hey, what system are you on? They just go to work. Plumber, clean water in, dirty water out. It's not that hard. But I gotta wear all kinds of different hats in this industry. I gotta be an appraiser. I gotta greet the customer. I gotta be a body man, a frame man, suspension, electronics, airbags. The list is 5 miles long. I gotta wear a lot of hats, and you're expecting me to do all this for next to nothing. I'm on the advisory board for 3 trade schools. And you know what? No one's going into this trade. You know why? Because there's no money in it. Because the insurance companies have squeezed and squeezed and squeezed to the point where people are just dropping like flies. Shops are closing left and right. You can't find people to work in this industry because there's no money in it. Why should they come into my industry and work when I've got an Amazon fulfillment center 3 or 4 miles from my shop? And they're gonna start at $20 an hour. They're gonna get full dental, medical, 401, profit share. And all they're gonna do is drive from one house, next house, take their phone out, snap a picture. How hard is that? Now compare all of that to what we have to do. And make sure that you people have your families in your car that you might have hit a telephone pole with. You gotta make sure that it's safe to drive in. We have to take on that responsibility. But all the people at the top of the insurance industry, they're paying themselves real nice wages, aren't they? In 1999, Sanford Wheel, CEO of Travelers Group, made $400 million and got a $50 million stock option. And in 2000, he made $537 million. And that was 25 years ago. But you expect all of us to just live on crumbs. Yeah, just get by. We're paying you enough. We're paying people more in Connecticut. Well, we can't pay you people a decent wage. Why is that? This just can't keep going on. This system is imploding right now. And I got a line of customers that want to come to my shop, and I have them booked at least a month out all the time. You know why? Because I don't have enough help to get it done. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to put all this blame at the feet of the insurance companies that are just ridiculously petty when it comes to paying us a decent wage. We can't keep doing what we're doing. And I'll tell you right now, the insurance people who come in and tell me how to fix a car, they don't have a clue what it takes to fix a car. You don't have the knowledge or the expertise for what we do. It's about time we start getting paid what we deserve. We can't keep doing this. I think that's about enough that I gotta say.
Thank you, Mr. Fluvius. All right, so the next witness we have signed in is Jeffrey White. He is an AASP member, North Andover Auto Body Collision Repair. Mr. White, we're trying to limit people to their testimony if you can. 3 minutes would be fine, but if you have to go over a little, that's fine too.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for the opportunity to speak today. And I greatly appreciate the committee taking their time to work with us and trying to come to an effort, put their efforts together to come to a solution. Because I got a few ideas that might determine their labor reimbursement rate. One of the things that comes to mind is what Brian mentioned, that the current rate is forced upon a lot of the shops. I'm thinking that this committee should consider the following during the evaluation process. Insurance carriers are contracted rates with shops. I've not seen a contract though that obligates the delivery period, any level of training, any level of AS research, any requirements for equipment. There's a plethora of special equipment that we need, training that we need, AS research that needs to be done in order for us to make a proper repair. It's understandable to me that contracted, the shops might join and sign onto a contract if they're not required to have any of this training, and they're not required to educate their, people or keep their equipment up to date. There are no requirements for that. So of course, shops might be willing to work. If I didn't have to do all that stuff, I could probably work for a little bit later, but I can't do that. In order for me to do this job correctly, I need to train my people, I need to update my people all the time. And at this labor rate, I'm at the point with my shop that I found that it's impossible to do. About 4 or 5 years ago now, that we made decisions, my wife and I, that like, we couldn't keep up, keep it on the contracted rate. So instead, we had to start charging our customers for that integrated business. And what I found is that most of my customers are okay with that. I've actually brought with the, I think Mr. Sykes had asked me that, one of the meetings that the shops should provide, that this rate is being accepted. I brought a dozen examples with me. I brought some from Mapfre Insurance, some from Arbella because of their participation on the committee, and also some from some other shops. So what I did is I redacted all the information as far as customer names and such, and I did leave claim number. And I did this as proof that our industry is, consumers are willing to pay. Our industry won't be deserved to fix vehicles. I have customers that will wait for me to have me, pay the extra money to fix their vehicle correctly because they know that I've got their best interest in mind. What I was thinking is that the committee should insist upon answers to the following questions by collision repairs. Those questions are following. Do you stay constantly with industry related training? And if you don't, why don't you do that? Do you feel you are providing adequate compensation for your staff? And if not, why not? Do you own all the necessary equipment to safely repair today's late model vehicles? If not, why not? Are you able to afford the cost of subscriptions that are necessary for information such as OEM subscriptions, all data, AS, Think, or equivalent? And if not, why not? The fact is that if shops aren't repairing the vehicles correctly, of course they can do it for less money, but if you're really trying to do the right thing, it costs money to do this. It costs money to update our equipment and educate. It just does. And it's the race just they're not cutting. What we do is we provide our clients with a separate invoice. So when we do the job, whatever that labor rate is, we provide them with that. And we also have asked them to pay them with a separate check so that we would be able to have some opportunity to provide food. So I've got a dozen, examples with me, but I'm prepared to offer 100 more if anybody would like to see us to help this committee. There's a few questions that I think the committee should consider asking the insurance carrier. First of which is, why is it that there isn't any training or equipment requirements in the contracts? So if an insurance carrier is going to go to a body shop and ask them to sign a contract for certain labor rates and such, why no demands for training? Like, what about ADAS research? What about the things that are actually affecting the consumer? I would submit, I don't know that, an exact number, but I would say that the majority of the shops in the Commonwealth do not have what they need to repair the vehicles correctly. They don't have the training, they're just not up to the task. I'm not insulting any shops because, of course they don't have it. They can afford it. It's very, very expensive. And so my thoughts here are that this is something we should be talking to insurance carriers about, and maybe perhaps putting some sort of a demand on. The other question is, what are the labor rates in the other states that border Massachusetts, and why is there such a vast difference? When I look at things, Massachusetts appears to be number 2 in the highest cost of living. The Board of State of New York is number 6, Vermont is 9, Connecticut is 12, New Hampshire 11, Rhode Island is 13. But yeah, our labor rate is considerably less than all of these, and that to me just doesn't make any sense. The last question I would ask is, anybody on this committee, would you be willing to take your vehicle to a body shop that didn't have any training, that couldn't prove any out of speed service, didn't have the proper equipment, that you put your daughter in that vehicle after it was repaired? This, at the end of the day, is not really about us as the body shops. This is about the consumer and the safety of the consumer. If we don't get paid properly to repair these vehicles, it's eventually gonna result in loss of life, or all kinds of problems that none of us really want to happen. We're all here to do the right thing by the consumer, and I think we have to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next person on the list is Edward J. Force. Repairs Unlimited, collision repair. And if you could make sure the microphone is closer to you, they can't hear you virtually.
And just a reminder to anybody in the room that the sign-in sheet's up here on the main table, if you haven't signed in to testify yet.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you for everybody to be here. I appreciate taking the time to talk about this issue. I started my business in 1985 in Georgetown, Massachusetts. Back in 1985, the auto body labor rate was $28 an hour. Here I am 40 years later in business, and the average labor rate in Massachusetts right now, I believe, is $45 an hour. We've got a major issue with retaining help, training, like Jeff said, and the proper procedures to repair these cars to pre-loss condition is becoming a huge issue. A few years back, I decided that there was no way that I can continue conducting my business running at the supposedly market rate. I asked, what is the market rate in my area? I am the only registered body shop in Georgetown, Massachusetts. Nobody can answer that question. 7.5 miles from my location is the New Hampshire border. The auto body labor rate, to my understanding, in New Hampshire is an average of $55 to $60 an hour. We're all repairing the same cars. We're all buying from the same suppliers. Yet, I have to accept a lower rate. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I'm on the advisory committee for Whittier Vocational High School in Haverhill. The program is starving for people coming into the program. The enrollment is terrible. Essex Tech, I believe, is committed to closing their auto body program this year. There's a major issue here. Not only can we not get help, there's also a major issue with repairing vehicles to pre-loss condition and repairing them properly. People are going to start to get hurt. There are going to be catastrophic things that happen because we don't have the ability to purchase the products that we need, to purchase the equipment we need, to maintain employees in this industry. I have a technician working for me, came out of Whittier Vocational High School 24 years ago. His son just graduated from the electrical program. His son is making $1 an hour less than his father is, who has been in the business for over 20 years. There's something to be wrong. It's ridiculous. There's no incentive to get into this business. We have a major issue. I am the 3rd generation of body tech in my family. I have 2 daughters. They've lived the struggles. They've seen it. They want nothing to do with my business. They don't want to move on with it. It stops with me. It's over. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate some consideration on the struggles we have in the auto body industry.
Thank you. We're gonna call Mr. Guy Glodis. He's a former legislature and the legislature. I think he may have been chair at one time.
Yeah, don't hold it against me, Mr.
Yeah. I think I actually went out for a fundraiser with Matt and Morel in our country.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, through you to members of the committee. First, I just want to thank each and every one of you. The most precious thing we have is not necessarily money, but it's time, and you're all giving you valuable time to be here. And Mr. Chairman, I also say, and it's a popular saying, that if you want to fix a company, you don't go to the boardroom, you go to the assembly line. And the assembly line is behind me, and I really hope that you take each and every one of these working men and women's opinions strongly. I can tell you, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to talk a little bit about this issue, not from the assembly line and not as a worker, but from your side of the aisle as a former legislator, but not only as a former legislator, the former chair of insurance. And in 2003, 2004, I had that distinct honor. And you know what was the biggest issue at the time in 2003 and 2004? As Mrs. Starbird said, the same issue that we're talking about today. The same issue about how underpaid and grossly underpaid that auto body technicians are in Massachusetts. And I can go to a bicycle shop and pay $60 or $70 an hour to fix my bike. And the fact that they only want to give on average of $44 is incredulous. As somebody spoke, and we can get into arguments, Mr. Stark, about whether or not we're the lowest paid in the country or the second lowest paid. But Mr. Chairman, we're very, very low paid. And the price to do business in Massachusetts is almost triple what it is in most states, second only to Hawaii. It's more expensive to operate a business in Massachusetts than it is in California. And if we, since insurance reform was done by the general court, if we kept up with a consumer price index, we would be in triple digits what these people would be getting paid behind us. And one thing that is insulting to me, Mr. Chairman, is when I hear the insurance industry say they can't afford it and they're fighting for the consumers. What a bunch of BS that is. When they had the most record, Mr. Chairman, when they had record ability during COVID, and this is well documented, including with Massachusetts insurance carriers, did these guys get a little bit of a bump? None. I just read an article about Progressive having record profitability of all time. They're always saying, oh, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. Well, when can you afford it? These people deserve a good pay for a good day's work. And it's not just about consumer protection, it's about public safety. They're responsible, not the insurance companies. When somebody goes into their vehicle and if they get in an accident because of shoddy work, because the ingredient insurance people don't want to pay them what they deserve to be paid. So I hope, Mr. Chairman, as the former chair, and I remember talking to Senate President Birmingham about this issue, God bless his soul. He said to me, Senator, you're right. We finally need to address this issue. This issue's been kicked down the road too long. Mr. Chairman, that was 20 years ago. Please, I implore this board to do the right thing and give a significant, not a little dollar here and there, how insulting, but to bring them up to what they should be paid compared to the region and compared to the trade and compared to all of the mandates that they have to do with training and technical equipment. They're just asking for good fair pay to keep their industry alive and to do the right thing by the consumers. And I hope this board will find the confidence and the political fortitude to do the right thing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, questions? Mr. Chairman, questions? Mr. Chairman, questions? Mr. Chairman, questions? Are we going to be permitted to ask questions to speakers today, Mr. Chairman? Are we as the board allowed to ask questions of the speakers today, or do we just accept?
No, it's another day. Right now, it's just. Thank you, Mr. Close. And thank you for finding my ex-senator, Mr. Birmingham. He was a good man. He was a wonderful. The next speaker is John Bucari, ASP Mass North Shore Auto Body Collision Repair. Can you get up in front of the mic so they can get you?
I don't really know how to follow with that, but I'll do my best. First things first, I'd love to thank these three gentlemen right here because they're voicing frustrations, arguments, stress from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. So I do really appreciate you guys. So good afternoon. My name is John Bucari. I'm representing North Shore Auto Body, which is a third-generation family business proudly serving the North Shore area since 1977. As the prospective fourth-generation owner, I'm here today to shed light on a critical issue impacting our industry, the severely suppressed insurance reimbursement rates in Massachusetts. Let's just look at the facts. In 1985, the insurance reimbursement rate was approximately $28 per hour when my father, David, entered the industry. The consumer price index at that time was 109.6. Today, the reimbursement rate is around $45 per hour, depending on the company, while the CPI has soared to 320.8. This represents a 192.7% increase in CPI compared to a mere 60.7% increase in our reimbursement rate. Our hourly rate is the lifeblood of our business, covering everything from salaries, benefits, rent, utilities, etc. With a cap of roughly $45 per hour for auto body repair and a meager $20 per hour for paint and materials, it is increasingly unsustainable. Considering that the average auto body technician earns $35 to $40 per hour, this leaves a dangerously thin margin for all other operating costs, especially when factoring in the rapid advancements in vehicle technology, which demand continuous investment in expensive equipment and specialized training. These suppressed rates directly hinder shops from investing in their future, and I believe are the primary reason for the declining number of repair facilities in Massachusetts. Excuse me. The impact extends beyond business viability. It's driving away our future workforce. We recently hired one of the last graduates from Essex North Shore Agriculture and Technical School's auto body program, which unfortunately will be shutting down after 2026. Students are choosing other paths because they see no room for growth and inadequate pay in our trade. Our industry is facing a looming crisis with over 60% of the workforce over the age of 50. With the state's average retirement age at 66, time is not on our side. It's time for a change that reflects a fair and respectable reimbursement rate for the dedicated tradesmen and women who uphold vehicle safety and quality repairs in our state. Massachusetts has the unfortunate distinction of having the lowest auto body reimbursement rate in the country, coupled with one of the highest costs of living. This stark reality means auto body shops are dedicating 75 to 80% of their total reimbursement just to pay and maintain their technicians. This leaves a mere 20 to 25% to cover all other operational costs, including essential training and equipment to meet modern repair standards. I challenge anyone to name another service-based industry that can succeed and sustain itself with such indefensible margins. Thank you all for your time today and your serious consideration of this vital matter.
Next witness is Alicia Salties, not sure auto body. Did I get your name right? Please
Alicia.
state your name for the record.
Alicia. Good afternoon. I am Alicia. I'm the mentioned last graduate of Essex Tech. I graduated in 2025, just a few weeks ago. And all 4 years that I was at Essex Tech, I attended for collision repair, and I quickly fell in love with it. I love it and I want it to be my career, but that is not possible. I want to talk to you today about my teacher, Mr. T. I had him, out of all the teachers I had over the 12 years that I went to school, I can say that I've never had a teacher like him. He's been in the school since it opened in 2014, from transferring from the Aggie to Essex Tech, and he's been teaching for even longer. As you may imagine, it's difficult to be a young woman in a heavily male-dominated field. It has its difficulties, and it has not always been easy, but I would never have even considered venturing into a predominantly man's trade without the encouragement of my teacher. He's encouraging to young adults to join the workforce that is so desperate for help, and the insurance company's wages have taken away his opportunity to change the lives of many more, the way he's changed mine. Mr. T has seen thousands of students come through the collision repair program and has touched each and every one of them. There is no one more uplifting, encouraging, or more obsessed with following the rules than Mr. T. Last year, we found out that the collision repair program would be closing after the class of 2026 due to the high cost of operation and the suffering interest. Mr. T only had one more year to do what he loved and change the lives of students before his shortly before my graduation, we found out that Mr. T would not be asked back to teach his final graduating class of 2026. After over 4,500 students passed through his doors, the shop is closing. Oh, sorry. After over 4,500 students pass through his doors, he will not be able to see his last class of only 6 out into the world. Students with the consistent complaints about upcoming generations, lack of work ethic, it would make sense to surround your students with teachers like Mr. T that show integrity, responsibility, and hard work. But by allowing the industry to suffer, you are not only costing shops, but you're costing your children, and you're costing their future education. And I will never understand how a teacher with over 20 years of teaching experience and a perfect record can be stripped of the opportunity to see through his 11 years of teaching at the same school. You're robbing your children of education. We're not just talking about one teacher, we're talking about thousands. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness is James Colette Motors.
Thank you. My name is James Collette on behalf of Collette Motors, a third-generation family-owned auto body shop located in South Grafton. For decades, our shop has proudly served our community by delivering reliable, high-standard collision repairs built on precision, professionalism, and customer trust. But today, our industry is facing serious challenges that threaten the future of shops like ours, and it starts with the outdated labor reimbursement rate. As a shop located in a smaller town, we face unique obstacles compared to larger, high-volume shops in the city. While the expectations for safe OEM-compliant repairs are the same across the board, the cost of return ratio looks very different for us. Labor rates have remained stagnant for years. Even the cost of doing proper repairs continue to rise dramatically. Newer vehicles get equipped with ADAS, sensors, cameras. Materials require constant investments in training, certifications, and specialized equipment. This investment adds up quickly as low labor rates make it harder and harder to keep up. In our opinion, this gap between raising demand and flat artificial suppressed labor reimbursement rate is putting up substantial pressure on small independent shops like ours while jeopardizing, and most important, the safety of vehicle owners. Another growing concern is the difficulty in finding skilled workers. Simply put, fewer younger people are entering this trade. A former instructor at Blackstone Valley in Upton trade program recently informed me that they had downsized the collision repair classes because of low student interest. This is no surprise when wages in our field don't reflect the technical skills, physical effort, responsibility required. It is becoming nearly impossible to compete with other industries that offer better starting pay, cleaner career growth, and earning potential. The labor shortage isn't just hurting shops, it's hurting the consumer. With fewer trained technicians, repair times increase, quality suffers, customer safety may be compromised. Many expert technicians are also leaving the field altogether for greater earning opportunities with the skill levels and expertise, and without a fair labor reimbursement rate to the policyholders, we cannot competitively pay to bring in the next generation of workers. Our shop wants to continue doing things the right way and following manufacturer's requirement guidelines, investing in modern tools, keeping our technicians properly trained. But we need a fair, equitable labor reimbursement system to make that possible. Labor reimbursement rates paid by the insurers must be updated to reflect today's vehicle technology, training costs, and real challenges of running a body shop in 2025, and the ever-increasing cost of running businesses in Massachusetts, especially in smaller towns like myself. So we urge the advisory board and lawmakers to listen to the people on the ground doing the work and to take this issue seriously, not just for future auto body shops, but more importantly, the safety and service quality for every vehicle on the road. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, our next witness is Michael Panak, Mike Auto Body, Collision. Make sure that mic is close to you so they can get you virtually.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me? Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to come here. I wasn't supposed to be today. I had to cancel the doctor's appointment to get here, but this is really important. A little background about me. I started a trade school at Diamond in 1975, graduated in 77, started my shop in 82. When I started my shop in 82, the labor rate was $24 an hour. And every 2 years go up $2, went to 26, 28, and we're trying to get 30. We're getting 30, and Liberty went from 28 to 26. At the time, they were the biggest carrier in the state. And then they agreed to pay the 28. Hanover was paying 30. A few months later, they went back to 28. It was horrible. Gary's did it all. Guy blew it out of the ballpark. You know, it's difficult to pay your bills, pay your people, take care of your customers, do the right job. We're talking about labor here, but it's a lot more than labor rate. Look at the whole pie. But right now, I'm going to stick to labor rate. You know, I got to put my guys can go work in construction with a shovel and a pair of boots and make $45, $50 an hour, 401ks and everything. My guys have these $10,000 rolling carts, and they're good workers. My guy, but I gotta pay them, you know. And it's either you gotta check the customer or do it right, and we want to do it right. And thank God, appraisers understand. But when it comes to the higher ups telling the guys downstairs, you give them this, you don't give them that. I had one appraiser once come in and I gave him a sheet and he ran out the door. He didn't want to see it. I've had appraisers come up, who wants to come again, let Honda. These guys believe my. If you work for an insurance company and you sign one of them contracts, which I did years ago, I got off them because I couldn't make any money. It's got a whole. And whatever you do, if you don't do the job right and someone gets hurt, someone comes up with a form, says, oh, Mike said it's all harmless. And a lot of these shops that are doing the jobs wrong, and they think their insurance is going to cover them, they got something else coming to them. So, like I said, Gary said it all, but we're out there trying. I work hard. We have more than one business at the shop. Our tow company makes more money than the body. The mechanical division makes more money. The car rental agency makes more money. And we're working. We're not stealing money. We're not taking money. We're not lying. We're doing everything the right way. And then we come home and something breaks in the house. Something breaks at the shop. The other day, I had a guy from New Hampshire come down for $1,000. Yeah, 4 hours. Thank God he came down and fixed my stupid. But you know, the insurance people, I wanted you guys to make the same money you made 2 years ago, making more money now, more benefits. And at the end of the year, don't you get some kind of a God, I want what's mine. I don't steal anything. I work hard for it. And all the time, it's not the guys that come in and look at the cars. Their hands are tied. It's the people they're saying, don't give this, don't agree to this, don't do this, that. And at the end, it comes down to what we're getting reimbursed. You know, cars come in my shop, initial price of $200, they leave $6,000. But we have to paint everything, we have to galvanize everything, have to put the coating on it, everything we have to do to make this car and give it to the customer. We have to resell the car to the customer. Your car comes in, it's a mess, okay? And we give it back to you. I had a customer the other day with a Volvo, an older Volvo. She said, I was getting my car recon, but did such a great job. That's what we do. That's what we all do out there. We're not ham and eggers. We've been doing this for a long time. And we need to get a fair labor rate. We really, really do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next witness is Stephen Durante of Mike's Auto Body.
Hi, insurance. Suppress collision repair rates, referencing rates they impose on other shops as their market study. Premiums increase annually. Insurance employees receive at minimum annual wage increases, paid holidays, and many other benefits. Insurance CEOs receive annual salary increases, in addition to multi-million dollars in profit sharing, stock incentives, and bonuses, all while they claim their companies that they serve are hemorrhaging money because of the cost of repair. Taxes increase, utilities increase, as well as other operations, expenses, and administrative costs. Today, vehicles are more advanced than ever, and the technology is increasing faster than ever. Incurring increasing training and equipment costs, all while assume the liability for quality, safe repair, operating at basically a stagnant labor rate. So it just needs to go up. That's all.
Thank you. The next witness is John, I think it's Texeria from Mike Auto Body. I'm gonna pass. You just signed this thing, I didn't know what to say. Sorry, Kathy. Okay. Yeah, McCall Rhodes from Nesco Sales Inc. Auto Body.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is McCole Rhodes. I'm the manager of Nesco Sales Inc. We're an auto body shop in Palmer, Mass. I come before you not just as a technician myself, but as someone who has built a life in this industry, who has mentored young technicians, and who has watched the trade suffer, not from a lack of passion or skill, but from a system that refuses to value the work that we do. Let me be clear, the auto body repair industry is not the problem. We are the people who are working long hours, investing in expensive tools and ongoing training, breathing through respirators in dangerous conditions, and fixing vehicles that insurance companies deem safe after the cheapest possible repair. We're the ones keeping drivers safe, making sure your airbags deploy, your ADAS systems work, and your crumple zones protect your family. And yet we are being squeezed to the breaking point. Massachusetts auto body labor rates are among the lowest in the country, and that's no accident. For decades, insurance companies have suppressed labor rates to maximize profits, ignoring the escalating costs of training, equipment, and safe repairs. Meanwhile, vehicles get more complex and repairs demand more expertise and precision than ever before. The result? No one wants to enter this industry anymore. The average technician in Massachusetts is over 50 years old. I'm trying to buy a business, and my biggest fear is that in 10 years, there will be no one left to work in it. One local high school, which I graduated from, nearly closed its collision program not long ago because not a single student signed up. Why would they, when it's known when the pay doesn't reflect the skill required? In the past few years, I've watched 3 young technicians from our shop leave for other careers, ones that pay better and require less physical labor. 2 of them were co-op students in high school, changed their paths after seeing the reality. The third was a post-secondary technical school student, quit to bartend for the money. Please let that sink in. We lost a future technician to a bar stool because it pays more. As a prospective shop owner, what will my future hold? As technicians, technicians work in hazardous environments. Every day they're in respirators, gloves, eye and ear protection, dealing with chemicals, dust, and heavy machinery. It's a physically demanding job that takes skill, precision, and experience. And we're asking these professionals to accept a wage that hasn't kept up with inflation, let alone the demands of the modern vehicle. How much would I have to pay you guys to work in this condition? Meanwhile, the insurance industry posts record profits while asking us to cut corners, do more with less, and rush through repairs, and all the while holding the labor rate hostage. They've created a race to the bottom, and now we're seeing the consequences: an aging workforce, empty classrooms, and a complete collapse of the talent pipeline. There's also a major diversity problem. Over 95% of our techs are male. That's no coincidence. The low pay and high risk make it nearly impossible to attract women and other underrepresented groups into this field. A fair labor rate is the first step in in building a more inclusive and sustainable workforce. The auto body industry is not broken. We've done our part. We've invested in training. We've adapted to technology. We've stayed open during pandemics and supply shortages, and we've continued to serve Massachusetts drivers with integrity. It's time for the insurance industry to do its part. It's time to raise the labor rate to reflect the real cost of safe, quality repairs. Otherwise, we risk losing the very people who keep our roads safe after every collision. Thank you for your time and consideration the real challenges we face.
Next person on the list is like Jonathan, or Joe, or is it Joe?
Jonathan.
Jonathan?
Schreiber.
Schreiber, Jonathan Schreiber. Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan's from American Property Casualty Insurance Association.
Good afternoon, members of the Auto Body Labor Rate Advisory Board. My name is Jonathan Schreiber, and I'm here on behalf of the American Property Casualty Insurance Association. APCIA represents 67% of the U.S. property casualty insurance market. A dozen APCIA members are located in Massachusetts, and many more do business here. APCIA members write 75% of the property and casualty insurance sold in the state. Property and casualty insurers protect over 4.5 million cars in Massachusetts and provide more than $8 billion in annual assistance via claims payments, many to body shops, to help customers recover after accidents, natural disasters, and other losses. APCIA strongly opposes government price fixing in the Massachusetts auto repair marketplace. Setting aside minimum wage or government contracts, we are not aware of any industry in Massachusetts with a special artificial compensation rate set open market by the government. Superimposing a government mandated price on services will increase costs, stifle competition, and undoubtedly deter more auto insurers from entering the market, all to the ultimate detriment of Massachusetts consumers. Those consumers benefit today from our state's managed competition model, as Massachusetts premiums have dropped in national rankings from 5th most expensive at the start of managed competition to 18th today. In addition to providing savings to customers compared with national averages and premium increases well below inflation rates, insurers continue to work well with auto body shops across Massachusetts. The bedrock of this long-standing, mutually beneficial relationship is fair compensation. According to historic NAIC data, the average combined auto insurance premium in Massachusetts in 1989 was $821. In 2022, average premiums were $1,251, a 52% increase over 33 years, and $700 less than the inflation-adjusted amount. Applying the same 52% increase to the AASP Massachusetts statistic, a $30 per hour labor rate in 1989, yields a parity rate of $45.60, just 61 cents over the current average weighted labor rate AASP circulated to the board. As with many economic considerations, supply and demand are key components. Labor rate is no different. When the demand for a service outpaces its supply, the price for that service rises. When the supply of service providers outpaces demand, prices stay low. This is in many ways the story of auto body shops in Massachusetts, which continues to be a leader in the proportion of shops to population. Couple that with decreasing motor vehicle registrations and a 22% drop in physical damage claims between 2003 and 2019, and the result is a labor rate that is slow to rise. That said, we continue to be optimistic about the future. This market, like any other, will adjust and fair market values will ultimately prevail. We look forward to continuing to work with auto body shops to best serve our shared customers, the residents of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, John. The next witness is Douglas Begin.
Good afternoon.
Get close to the microphone so they can hear you.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Douglas Beejan, and I have been in the auto body repair industry for 10 years. I'm the collision center manager at Vendetti Motors, located in Franklin, Massachusetts. And I'm here today to express my deep concern about the suppressed reimbursement rates that have burdened repair shops and forced us to pass labor rate differences onto our clients. The current labor rate paid by insurance carriers in Massachusetts has remained stagnant for decades, failing to reflect the real costs of providing safe, high-quality repairs. As costs for materials, equipment, and employee wages continue to rise, independent shops like mine are being squeezed and in many cases forced to compromise or close altogether. This is not just hurting small business owners, it is directly impacting consumers, their safety, and the integrity of our industry. Vehicles today are more technologically advanced than ever, requiring highly skilled technicians, ongoing training, and specialized equipment to restore them to manufacturer's specifications. Yet, we are paid at a rate that does not account for this expertise, nor do they allow for proper investment in tools and workforce development. As a result, many qualified technicians are leaving the industry for better paying opportunities, further exacerbating the labor shortage. What's most troubling is that the financial burden of these artificially low reimbursement rates falls on the very people we serve, our customers. They expect and deserve proper repairs to restore their vehicles safely. But when insurance carriers fail to reimburse at fair rates, we are left no choice but to either absorb the loss or pass the cost on to the vehicle owner. This situation is fundamentally unfair and undermines consumer trust. Massachusetts must take action to correct this injustice. I urge you to recognize the necessity of a labor rate increase, ensuring that auto body repair professionals are fairly compensated for their work. A reasonable industry reflective labor rate will strengthen our business, improve safety standards, and allow us to continue serving our communities without imposing undue financial hardship on the consumer. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. That is the sign-in list for the live festival. We'll now invite people virtual. We'll have to turn this over to Erin Shannon. Erin, if you have people that are indicated they'd like to testify virtually, I would appreciate it if you begin the process. The same rules, 3 minutes for each witness testifying.
Yes, if you're interested in testifying virtually, please raise your hand and I will work down the list and promote people to be a panelist and speak one by one. Okay. Mr. Dowling, you can speak whenever you're ready.
My name is Don Dowling. I'm from Marblehead Collision. Thank you all for your time with this issue the auto body repair industry has been facing for years. Hopefully the outcome of this board will help our consumers receive fair compensation for collision repairs. You're all aware the auto body industry is reimbursed the lowest out of the major trades. Auto body repair is roughly a third the rate of an electrician, plumber, carpenter, and mechanic. Auto body repairers have much more overhead. They require more expensive equipment and must have a dedicated building for the repair to be performed. Insurers have continually rejected all the industry solutions for this issue. Clearly, some of the legislators have noticed this, and here we are with the Auto Body Labor Rate Advisory Board. The insurers will continue to mention what the current rate is. This number means nothing. The only number that matters is a fair reimbursement rate for the work performed. If you decide that 60 or 65 per hour is what the industry is worth, please reconsider your thoughts and your sources. Do not let the insurers trick you into thinking that repairing a vehicle should cost less than repairing a bicycle. Over the past 365 days, over 5,700 repair shops have reported their labor rate to a neutral site. The average rate from that survey is $82 per hour. This includes states like Oklahoma, Iowa, and Mississippi, all states with extremely low cost of living. 2024, Massachusetts was the second highest cost of living, only to Hawaii. This labor rate not only pays for the technician working on the vehicle, but it also pays for the office staff it takes to run a business. The auto body office staff to technician ratio continues to increase every year. The shops are being hit with the burden of additional admin tasks because insurers are doing less of it, passing that labor on to shops. Shops do not get compensated for the admin work that they perform. For every technician in a shop, at least one admin employee is required. At my facility, we have 7 technicians and 10 employees who do not work on a vehicle. They work in the office. How is $65 supposed to pay for all that? Never mind the enormous overhead that shops experience. For most shops, my shop included, we lose money every year on labor. This means we pay out more in labor than we take in. Do any of you think this is fair, or think this is the way that a business should have to run? Do not let the insurers tell you collision repairs should be paid less than every other profession. Collision repairs can only be done by an auto body technician. It is a trade like no other. Chances are, many of you can replace an electrical outlet, replace a faucet, or install a cabinet. I would guess none of you can replace a quarter panel to a Honda Civic. Please do not let insurers guide you to what they want. Look at the facts and make the decision with the information that you have, not what you are being fed from the insurance companies. I would be glad to share my numbers with you so you can see for yourself. Seeing is believing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Dow. Do we have anybody else that's indicated they want to testify, Aaron?
We have one more who's raised their hand. I'm promoting them to be a panelist now. Mr. Kelsey. You can speak whenever you're ready, Mr. Kelsey.
Good afternoon, board members. Thank you for taking the time to hear my testimony. My name is Jimmy Kelsey. I'm a second generation manager and future owner of Kelsey's Auto Body in Chatham. We employ 14 incredibly hardworking and talented people. I've been in this business for 20 years, which is my entire adult life. Most days I love my job. I love cars. I love learning the new technology that are going into today's vehicles. And most importantly, I love helping people get back in their vehicles after an accident and making it look like it never happened. Today is not one of those days that I love my job. I hate public speaking, and it is very difficult for me to take the time out of my busy day to watch the important proceedings and Zoom meetings. As an outside observer who has seen all the meetings, it's disheartening to see the constructed board, who probably has never touched a wrench, frame machine, or spray gun, barely take into consideration the important points Brian, Rick, and Matt have been making for the collision side. Our industry is dying. This board was formed to help our industry and figure out what a fair minimum labor rate should be. These are the 3 members who have the most knowledge and understanding about the hardships in this industry. Their views need to be held with more weight than most. Please constantly keep this point in the back of your mind. Contrary to what Christopher Stark told you in his opening statement, the current state of the industry is not sustainable. Post-COVID, our shop had more work than we could keep up with. In a normal business, this would turn into additional profits, but it never reflected in our checkbook. January 2022, what we were collecting from insurance work and what we had for a posted labor rate was around a $25 an hour difference. This gap had to be closed to turn any sort of profit at our location. In November 2022, we started charging a minimum of $55 an hour for insurance work and balance billing our customers for the labor differences. With the insurance companies that refuse to negotiate a fair rate, such as Mapfre and Arbella and others, in the last 2+ years, we have collected on average $300 per claim from consumers, totaling over $100,000. The consumer understands we can't work for $45 an hour. We hear constantly about the landscaper or the house cleaner or a small engine repair place that charges more than that. But these companies expect us to work on $100,000 complex vehicles for $40 or $50 an hour. It just doesn't make sense. If a significant change does not come about, we will have no workforce in the coming years. My shop is lucky enough to have 2 techs that have been with our company for 38+ years. When they retire soon, it will be virtually impossible to replace them. I'm on the advisory board of a local tech school, and the number of kids going into the collision program is shrinking. Information about salaries and specific fields are readily available to these kids, and nobody wants to go into the industry. Why would they choose to go into an industry where they know they can't or can barely make a living wage? On the flip side, it seems like the insurance industry is doing just fine. They have the resources to hire whatever expert they please to produce whatever data they need to fit an agenda of suppressing the labor rate. Don't fall for these shenanigans again. This has gone on for too long and it needs to end. Thank you.
I don't see any other hands up. If anyone else wants to speak virtually, please either raise your hand or you could submit your name via the Q&A function. Just give it 1 minute. Okay, it looks like we don't have anyone else online who wishes to speak at the moment. Michael.
Thank you. Chairman, if I could, I know there is one gentleman that's technically challenged and he doesn't know how to raise his hand on the screen. If she could ask for Jack Lamborghini.
Jack Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Is Jack Lamborghini available?
Let me look. I see one attendee named Jack, so I will assume it's him and I will promote him 1 second. Okay, you can speak whenever you're ready.
Mr. Lamborghini?
He's muted.
Mr. Lamborghini, would you like to?
How's that? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello? Son of a gun.
We can hear you now.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Great. So I'll start out with apologizing for being a techno moron. Okay, this is not easy. I wish I could have been there in person today. It would have been a lot easier. I have a sneaking suspicion that there are probably several other people who are online who are also having a problem with the technology who would like to testify. So I didn't spend a lot of time writing out a long litany of issues that I have, but I do want to make some comments. First of all, Mr. Stark, what a wonderful opening statement you made today. You are the epitome of figures lie and liars figure. Once again, you've shown that you can confuse an issue to the max. I hope nobody there allows Mr. Stark to confuse the issue. Our labor rate is inadvertently low, too low, way too low. Okay. I find it also interesting that there are no rank and file members of the insurance industry here to testify. I would dare you insurers up there to bring all of your appraisers in and let them testify one by one, but you'd have to put them under oath because every one of them knows that the labor rate is ridiculously low and completely insufficient to sustain a collision repair business in today's economy. I also find it interesting that the lowest reimbursers of labor in the state of Massachusetts, i.e. Arbella, Mapfre, those two specifically, have members on the board here. They're here to protect, their own selfish interests. Those companies, along with safety insurance, have had a huge market share over the last 30 years here in Massachusetts and continue to suppress the rate. In fact, I would refer to Safety and Arbella as the younger siblings of Commerce, the big bad brother who defines what the labor rate here is in Massachusetts. Over the years, I've had hundreds of conversations with executives from every insurance company. I spent 48 years in the collision repair industry and 46 of them fighting for a fair labor rate. Every conversation I've had with insurers has always been, there's been a recognition on their part that yes, there is a labor rate problem. Samantha Tracy, I wish you were sitting up here today because I'd love to direct this question to you. I talked to her at length about the labor rate 4 years ago or 3 years ago when the last commission was formed. She knows how unfairly low it is, but I doubt she'd ever admit it. Even Peter Smith sitting up there knows how unfair the labor rate is, but he can't possibly admit it because they're all going to be protective of their jobs and their careers with the insurance industry. So we can sit here and you can listen to the absolute BS that someone like Mr. Stark, and he's a wonderful orator. What an outstanding orator Mr. Stark is. But it's all BS. Absolute BS. And you can't try to tell me that there's a difference between Connecticut and Massachusetts and New Hampshire and Massachusetts and New York and Massachusetts, and with some magical numbers about overall cost of repair. BS. The labor rate is the labor rate is the labor rate. And you've suppressed it just tremendously over the last 30 plus years. And every reasonable human being who would look at CPI or just the cost of living would understand that. Customers come in on a daily basis and they're in shock when we tell them that Commerce Insurance Company, their insurer, only wants to pay, I think, is it $44, Peter, now? Can you clarify that for me? $44. Oh, thank you. So when they say Commerce Insurance Company is going to pay you $44 to fix my, $40,000 automobile or even my $20,000 automobile, says, my gosh, I can't get my lawn cut for $44 an hour. And somehow they can stand there smugly and think that this is fair and equitable. And it certainly is not. So I sat in the last Labor Rate Commission back in 22, and nothing got done. And this is going in the same direction. And unless we get a fair labor rate, and understand also that the labor rate that's going to be fair is going to be a minimum rate. And really, really good repairers who have spent thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars of money on equipment and training and compensation for quality technicians, their labor rate is going to be more. But the minimum can't be $45 or $50 or even $55 an hour. It has to be something that's reasonable. And right now, you guys are so out of touch with what reality is, just completely out of touch. So this is my message to you. I hope you think long and hard about this, and I would welcome if anybody else on this board who is not a collision repair professional would like to listen to someone who spent 48 years in the industry and would like to talk at length about what has happened and what will continue to happen. I'd be happy to spend plenty of time. I'm retired now. I'd be happy to sit down with you and talk with you at length. So that is my message for today. It's been my message for 40-something years. I hope something gets done that's fair and equitable and allows the professional people of the collision repair industry and the consumer to all get what they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you.
It looks like we have one more person who wants to speak. One moment.
Do we have anybody else, Darren?
Yes, whenever you're ready, Ms. Mazzaferro.
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Mazzaferro, and I'm here today on behalf of Custom Auto Body, a third-generation family-owned shop that has proudly served East Longmeadow and Western Massachusetts since 1960. I'm here for all the other shops just like us that can't afford to lose even a single person for half a day to testify at this hearing. I've been in this industry for nearly 7 years, and I'm a licensed auto damage appraiser in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Vermont. I've worked directly with customers, insurance companies, and technicians, and I've seen firsthand how broken this system really is. We and countless other independent repair facilities are being choked by an insurance industry that refuses to acknowledge economic reality. The labor rate paid to auto body shops in Massachusetts is not just outdated, it's deliberately suppressed. It's insulting. For nearly 2 decades, the so-called prevailing rate has barely moved, while the cost of doing business has exploded. Wages, parts, paint, compliance, insurance, equipment, you name it. Today's insurers typically pay around $45 an hour per labor. It's among the lowest in the country. Let me be clear. This is an average from what I researched. In Connecticut, the average labor rate is $55 to $65 an hour. In Rhode Island, it's $55 to $60 an hour. In Vermont and New Hampshire, often similarly, $55 to $60 an hour. And yet in Massachusetts, a state with a significantly higher cost of living and operational expenses, we're expected to survive on a rate frozen in time, dictated unilaterally by insurers. There is no real negotiation, no transparency, no accountability. Instead, we're handed numbers based on internal surveys that use cherry-picked DRP or contract shops willing to work for less, essentially saying, oh, one shop's willing to work for garbage, so the rest of you should be grateful all you're doing is starving. These suppressed rates are not sustainable. It's offensive, it's manipulative, and it's killing small business. They directly cripple our ability to grow. We can't afford modern equipment to safely repair today's vehicles. We can't offer competitive wages, benefits, or even raises, making it nearly impossible to recruit or retain skilled workers. We can't invest in training or certifications needed to stay current in an industry evolving faster than ever. And on top of that, not 1 cent of the labor rate includes the enormous administrative burden placed on us. Writing estimates, chasing supplements, tracking down adjusters and appraisers. That's hours of unpaid labor every single week. Let's call this what it is. Massachusetts auto body shops are subsidizing insurance company profits at the expense of our employees, our customers, and our futures. We're not asking for a favor. We're demanding a fair, independently established labor rate that reflects the actual cost of quality, compliant, professional repair work in this state. Without reform, this industry will continue to decline. Shops will close, careers will disappear, and drivers will wait longer and pay more for lower quality repairs. It's time to stop letting a billion-dollar insurance company dictate what our work is worth. Because if we don't, everyone in this state, shop owners, workers, and consumers will continue to lose. And the last thing that I want to leave you with is a Consumer Federation of America article that was published on December 19th of 2024. And it states that in 2023, the CEOs of the top 10 insurance companies in the United States of America collectively made over $119 million. You mean to tell me that you can afford to pay your CEO a fair and reasonable labor rate, but you expect us to work for less? Thank you for your time.
I don't see anyone else with their hands up or who had said their name in the chat, so it seems like that's all for virtual speakers.
Thank you, Aaron. So this seems to conclude our testimony today. We had everybody sign in, testify. We invited anybody virtually who would like to testify to testify. Everyone will be given an opportunity to speak, and those who were given the opportunity and chose to speak to vote. I have to say that the testimony today was compelling. Both sides presented the case. The auto body people representing the industry had very interesting statements to make, some observations that were very relevant, and that the board will consider over the course of deliberation. This is just a big part of the process. We began the survey, which was number one command of the statute. And of course, we have to do the analysis. And then we did time today to take testimony. Down in the future, we'll take further testimony in September. Next meeting will be on July 29th at 2 p.m. I am very grateful that the members that did show up, showed up, and the ones that participated virtually did participate virtually. The members have given a lot of their time and effort on this voluntary assignment. And it's greatly appreciated that they have been participating during the course of these hearings. At this point, under the open meeting law, I don't believe we have any other further business to discuss. It requires a roll call vote of the members to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Stopper. A roll call vote, starting with Mr. Mark Morante,
Yes.
consumer advocate Sean King.
Yes.
Thank you. Business group appointee J.C. Burke.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay. The economist appointee, Mr. Quoker, who's unavailable, I understand. He's out of the country. The next appointee, Paul C. Burke. Thank you, sir. David Brown.
Aye.
Christopher Starr.
Aye.
Peter Smith.
Aye.
Samantha Tracy is unavailable. Rick Starr.
Aye.
Brian Bernard.
Aye.
And Matt Eskeen.
Aye.
Thank you. The vote passes unanimously. The board can adjourn. Thank you all for coming. It was very eye-opening and elaborate. Thank you.